All right, let's just jump right in. Think about the most important relationships in your life for a second. What if they're built not on the things you say, but on everything you don't say? That's what we're digging into today, that hidden foundation, what we're calling the architecture of truth. So I'm going to start by asking you a really direct question. What is your life actually built on? I mean, really, is it the stuff you talk about openly? Or is it something else, something hidden? For so many of us, the foundation of our lives is this very idea. We often build our lives on what we refuse to say, hoping silence will keep us safe. It's like we think silence is this big, strong shield, right? But what we're going to see is that shield, well, it's pretty much made of glass. All right, so let's get into our first section here. We're talking about a foundation of silence, this fragile bridge we try to build with all our unspoken needs. And this is something so many of us learn to do, maybe without even realizing it. We downsize our needs. We just make ourselves smaller, more acceptable. And why? Because deep down, we're absolutely terrified that if we're honest about what we really need, it's going to cost us the very connection we're trying so hard to protect. And all that hiding, it creates this specific kind of feeling, this internal friction. The source we're looking at calls it inner unrest. And just look at that definition. This isn't just your own private anxiety we're talking about. It's the fraying of a bond caused by what you're hiding. That's huge. It means it's a shared problem, even if only one of you is aware of it.
Yeah.
But the good news is, we don't have to stay stuck in that friction forever. And that brings us to the turning point, a section called the courage of clarity. This is that moment the fog starts to lift. Okay, so the first step, it's simple to say, but it's not easy to do. Healing really begins the moment you stop speaking around the wound. It's all about directness. It's about finally naming the thing that's causing the problem instead of just dancing around all the symptoms. So what are these wounds, these hidden things? The source material has a great name for them, the hidden coins. And I love that because these aren't just some vague feelings. No, they're real, tangible, concrete needs. Things like rent, debt, the simple need for rest, for help, even our biggest dreams. These are the things we keep clenched in our fists, totally hidden away from everyone. But here's the thing. To even look at those hidden coins, you need to shift your mindset. And that's where this idea of compassionate curiosity comes in. This is not about beating yourself up for hiding things, not at all. It's about looking at your own behavior with kindness, not malice, and realizing, hey, that was a coping mechanism. It's how you learned to survive when you felt like you had no support. Okay, so we've named the problem and we've got the right mindset. Now what? Now we get to the practical steps to actually break the cycle. Welcome to the gates of repair. Now, before we jump into the steps, just let this metaphor sink in for a second. A relationship where truth cannot be spoken becomes a room without doors. Wow. I mean, doesn't that just perfectly capture that feeling of being trapped? Of just walking in circles with no way out? Honesty. That's the key. That's what creates the door. And here they are, the keys, the 3 gates of repair. These are real, practical, direct phrases you can use. And notice how beautifully balanced they are. The first step, this week I need blank so I can feel supported. See, it's not a demand. It's just you defining what support actually looks like. The second, I feel hurt by blank and I'm bringing it to you because I value us. That's not an accusation. It's an invitation to heal, and it puts the relationship front and center. And finally, number 3, I am taking charge of blank so you know you can count on me. That's not just a vague promise. It's a clear declaration of your own responsibility. It's how you build real, solid trust. And you know what happens when you start using these tools? Everything shifts. You stop trying to walk on that fragile bridge of silence, and you start building something solid, an architecture of meaning, a future that can actually hold you up. And when you do this work, something really cool happens. You take on a whole new role. You become an architect of meaning. And listen, this isn't just some clever phrase. It's a fundamental shift in your identity. You stop being a puppet of your fears, and you start actively, honestly building your own future. And here it is, the transformation laid out right in front of us. The old way, you're a puppet of fear. The new way, you're an architect of meaning. The old way has thin, fragile threads holding you together. The new way has a sturdy, strong weave. And the foundation? It goes from hidden needs to spoken truths. This is a complete rebuild right from the ground up. And what you discover in this whole process is this beautiful, kind of surprising paradox. You were probably afraid that sharing your needs, your burdens, would push people away, right? But the truth is the exact opposite. Picking up the load together, that's not a burden. It's the very thing that stops you from drifting apart. It's your anchor in the storm. So let's wrap all of this up and bring it together with one final core idea. Let's talk about the thread and the weave. Seriously, if you only remember one thing from all this, make it this quote. Honesty is the thread. Clarity is the weave. Think about it. Honesty is the raw material, right? It's a single spoken truth. That's one thread. But clarity, that's the pattern. That's how you weave all those threads together to create something real, something strong enough to actually stand on. Which leaves us with one last, and maybe most important, question. It's an invitation, really, to start this whole process right now. So I'll leave you with this. In your own life, what is one thing, just one, that you can finally call by its real name?